Hey, this is Seth.
And this is Quinn.
And this is Drayton.
And welcome to another, but the final episode of the Serial Show. This is,
the music starts off so happy and hyped, and you just
And
brought
now
it down
it's sad.
immediately. Like, oh,
Sadness.
it's like a mix of feeling relieved
yeah.
because we're like
It
tying
is.
the bow on this 3-year endeavor, but also kind of sad when you think
Yeah.
that we've been doing this for 3
It's
years.
like the conclusion of Friends. We're all kind of moving out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like life gets busier, and it's not that you want to move. You want to move on, but
yeah,
you don't want to move on.
yeah. You want to move on until you sit in this chair with you guys around, and you're like, "Oh, this is kind of pretty nice."
Yeah. Then
And
it's
this-
like, oh yeah, this is why I do this.
Yes.
This setup has always looked this sweet, by the way. Definitely not for this time around.
Definitely didn't take an hour of us in the background trying to finagle everything together. But yes, another episode, and on this one, the final movie, Drayton's all-time favorite movie, Surf's Up, that we will be discussing, diving into, hearing the community takes, and as I say that, I point to the camera because we have a camera
Oh, man.
on this time around. Yes, video podcast for those listening on Spotify, and it'll be up on YouTube as well. You can see the final episode in video and see us and what we look like, and Quinn's awesome lights. That's probably the best thing about the...
That's the most
Yeah.
official thing. I think you said available for video on demand on YouTube and Spotify and all your favorite streaming
See,
platforms.
Yes.
Who cares about the face reveal when you have the light reveal?
Yeah.
Like the,
The light
lighting
reveal.
setup. Come
That's
on.
exact purple and I think it's green.
That
almost.
it's kind of a cyan aqua.
Okay, so check out the video if you want to see purple and cyan.
Just corrected
cyan.
by all the women. They're just like, no, that's teal.
Well, was that a sexist comment, Quinn?
No,
Men can know colors as well.
they can, but they generally don't. Like,
Yeah, that's true. Well, to be fair, the amount of guys that I know that are colorblind, there's a lot of them. But what isn't colorblind, I don't know how I'm going to train.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
How we usually run through this is we start with our ratings and taglines. So we'll go through each one of ours. And then a summary of the movie for anyone that might not have watched it or did watch it but got amnesia between then and listening to this episode. And then a parent's guide, in case you're thinking about watching it. And then we jump into good things, bad things, nitpicks, hear from your takes, and then we have quite the surprise at the very end
Wait, is this something that?
that Drayton might not know about.
ooh.
So it's going to be a
Plot twist.
fantastic
What?
episode. So hang in for the ride, and we will get started with ratings and taglines. Wait, the joke was always that Drayton, once he went first, he upstaged us.
Oh, yeah.
But
So-
now I'm not going first because this is like
This is
My
your...
favorite
That's
movie.
true. Okay, so rock, paper, scissors?
Sure. I was gonna, yeah.
Okay. Rock, paper,
paper,
scissors,
scissors,
shoot. Wow, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh,
I win.
Okay.
Okay, for the people listening on audio, me and Quinn got scissors the first time round, and then the second round was rock against his scissors.
and for those on video, you can verify we didn't cheat. I just realized my hand was probably behind the laptop.
I can
Oh, no.
I can verify I was the
There we
middleman
go, okay.
as usual,
Ref.
and Seth won.
Okay.
With Rock.
So, rating 7 out of 10. It is worth watching.
Wow.
Hey, it's not 6.8. I did not stoop
You got
low.
really close.
I got 0.2 close. Yeah, 7. I love this movie. Does it wow me? No. But you don't go in expecting to be wowed. You go in expecting a good movie, a good time. So,
I
don't-
respect that.
good. Okay. Phew. And my tagline is, not watching this movie is probably as sad as not having squidito on el stiquito or having chicken bob as your dad. Pour one out for chicken bob. But Surf's Up is charming, silly, overall has a positive theme and good vibes. And
I
that's
like
the
it.
tagline.
Nice.
There we go. Fist bump with Drayton.
bump,
I'm
baby.
in the good books.
All right.
Okay, Quinn, it's...
Uh-oh.
To
your
finish out the final episode, I will once again use a poorly thought out and not very funny tagline. Okay, so technically using the Summers rating system, I would consider this an 8, but I'm giving it a 9 because this is the type of movie I can watch at any point. They're just like,
Mm.
what should we watch? Surf's Up? Heck yeah, let's do it. So like, I'm giving it an official 9 because I think it's always worth watching. I mean, it's 9, whatever, Seth.
Yeah.
I respect. I like
Alright.
that.
Tagline: this movie's awesome, and I'm gonna need you to do a sound effect for this if possible.
Okay.
I'm glad the cameras were rolling when they filmed this because I've watched it over and over and over again.
Nice.
9 out of 10. I just need him screaming in the background.
Oh, I was like, you looked at Seth, and I was like, is there something specific that you're wanting out of this guy that I don't
sound
know?
effect. I got that. I got over and over. I'll get the sound effect in there.
Perfect.
Yep. We'll fix it in post.
Boom.
Perfect. And now, a final one.
Uh-oh. All right. The moment we've all not been waiting for, but that I've been waiting for. So I rate this movie, Surf's Up, of course, my favorite movie of all time, an 11.5 out of 10.
You can't do that. Breaking the rules for
here's
the
the
final
thing.
episode.
It would be a 12 out of 10 if it weren't for the fact that their try at a sequel was possibly the worst idea I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
no.
And it's
yes.
nothing that falls on Surf's Up itself, but
Yeah.
that sequel idea was awful.
We have to talk about that later. I didn't realize that there was
It's
a
like
sequel.
me neither.
It's the biggest negative to me, of anything.
wow.
It's just let the movie be the movie.
Yeah.
Why did you do this?
And that sequel was in like 2017, right? Like that's pretty
No.
recent.
No.
It's
Was
so
it that
so
recent?
bad. It's so bad. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, but we do want to hear the tagline.
So just real quick to explain why. It is a 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece in my opinion. Much like Quinn over here, I think it's just a movie you can watch whenever you want. It doesn't matter the group, the setting. It's just a happy, good feeling movie that has a little bit of everything for everybody, which goes right into my tagline, which is, this movie is number 1 to 10. From the individually named trophies in Tank's trophy room, to young penguins having crushes and roasting their bully, back around to the wholesome effect of loyalty and friendship, this movie hits every note for every song in its own soundtrack. A masterpiece in every way. My tagline could go on forever in praising it, but it's going to have to stop here, just like the serial show will have to end here.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, should we start
Love you,
recording?
boys.
Yeah, this is like instant
Man.
now.
Why do we have to bring in the video camera and we're gonna start crying? That was a nice tagline. That wrapped everything up.
Thank you.
Nicely done. 11.5. That was bold. That was bold.
It was fun watching you get visibly.
I was like, if I knew that was on the table, you better believe Wally would have been 11.5.
I don't know. There may be some Dribby fun facts that persuade you later. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know about that. We've started off with a bad taste. Surf's Up number 2. It'll only get better.
Oh, that's rough.
Talking about good things, the summary. Quinn, what happened in this movie?
Okay, so
Wait, and do we have the Nick?
it was anonymous. So in our hearts, in our thoughts, it is Nick.
It is Nick. Thank you, Nick,
Love
for
Nick.
contributing to the final episode.
Nicholas Cage the whole time.
That would be. What did Nicolas Cage have to tell us?
Do
All right.
not go past.
Literally, there was 2 extremes of like a really short synopsis
Oh,
and
It always is.
literally the entire movie broken
Every
down.
time.
What Seth did for Wally.
Yeah.
Okay. Surfing means everything to teenage penguin Cody Maverick, Shia LaBeouf. Followed by a documentary film crew, he leaves his home in Antarctica for Pingu Island, site of the Big Z Memorial Surf-Off. Cody wants to be respected and admired, and he believes that winning the competition will bring him what he craves. However, an encounter with washed-up surfer Geek teaches Cody about what is truly important. That's it. Surf's Up.
Nice.
Which actually is it's a pretty good synopsis.
Yeah,
Yeah. That is,
it's simple and to the point.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like it.
I like it. And the parents' guide. Should you watch this movie? Well, it is rated PG,
But
which makes it look pretty bad next to Wally. I mean, Wally was G. So I don't know what kind of risky stuff
Buddy,
you're watching.
I really thought we were going to get along tonight. I feel like
Well,
for the last
listen.
episode, you're trying to bring back all the memes.
Okay, but this movie is also rated a 0 in Germany, like Wally was.
well, listen. Have you heard German fairy tales?
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
people don't mess around. Like this is nothing for them.
Yeah,
Wait, what am I
that's true.
missing?
What?
German fairy tales?
Yeah.
Isn't that where
it's
the
like-
Grimm brothers came from? Like
I don't know. They've
Most
got
of
some,
them
the
modern
Grimm
day-
brothers
they've
came
got
from
some
there?
weird
Wow.
stuff over there. I feel like I'm gonna get
Whoa.
corrected after this, but like,
That's interesting. the typing.
Google
background.
let's see. Okay, there's no fables is
yes,
where you learn the
yes.
lesson. What?
The Grimm
Yeah,
brothers?
they were German. Okay,
Whoa.
Wow.
I believe so. Nice.
That's some
okay.
deep, dark stuff right there.
Yeah, you guys
Ooh.
get to learn stuff that you never thought you would learn about
So,
when clicking
do
on
we
the surf
really
stuff.
trust the German rating system?
Well, it's a 0. Both it and Wally is a 0. I mean, at least if it was a 0 out of 10, I'd be pretty annoyed. But that's their G, I guess. There is no sex and nudity, just Tank talking to his trophies. Take that as you will. And the most profanity is probably the term nuggets, as well as some potty humor.
He called her. She called him something.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dude, she loves you. She called you crap.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. The advice from Chicken Joe. Man's a legend.
should the rating be higher though? There was almost borderline.
My rating?
There's some weird lore in this. When they, I don't know if we want to save this for later. The
as
squid.
in like, there's a lot of like Chicken Joe almost dying.
No. I mean, they eat the squid and they all say it tastes like chick, and they go to say chicken.
That's true.
In front of Chicken Joe, which
Chicken
implies
Joe's sitting there. He's like, yeah, chit.
Which was like in this universe, have they had chicken? And is that cannibalism?
Because they are birds.
They're all
Penguins.
birds.
Whoa. Who knows?
Yo,
Is it
Quinn.
really PG? Like, what?
Man,
You rated this a 9 out of 10. What does it matter with you?
Why are we jumping from Wall-E, which had, as Scout brought up, some interesting consequences happening in space? Well, let's not dive into that.
They do like to hide deep topics in children's movies.
I do have to
That's a
say,
fact.
the Chicken Joe thing and then the Chicken Bob, like, absolutely sent me.
For context, I just look over at Seth's computer before we start recording earlier, and I see like countless pictures of Chicken Bob pulled up, and he starts dying laughing. It's amazing. Oh, you still have the tab
Yeah, I still
open.
have the tab open.
I love it.
The whole character of Chicken Joe is amazing. Okay, I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll get into what we enjoyed, but let's start off with first impressions. Do you remember your first impression after watching this movie?
No, but I do have early memories of it. Should we
Okay.
do that?
Yeah.
This movie, like, so we still actually have it, a vehicle with like one of those DVD players up in the top.
Oh, yeah.
Best invention ever for parents. They'd give us the headphones and we'd watch it on this little like 3-inch screen. It was flipping wonderful.
And then once the movie's finished, you were in Florida or
Yeah.
something. You're like, wow,
Yeah.
transportation.
Oh, that was wonderful. And half of us got car sick. No. So, but it's like I don't know. It's just been an awesome movie. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just, I think it hits the nostalgia factor for sure.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
like Emperor's New Groove. It probably has more substance to it than Emperor's New Groove, as much as I hate to say that.
I don't.
Whatever, Seth. We have to wrap up some plot lines like the 6.8. We have
That's
a
true.
gift for someone, maybe.
Oh,
Maybe.
we got some things to, yeah.
That's
Man,
a
are you guys like communicating outside in a separate group chat that I just don't know about?
No, you were
Like,
involved in
Oh, I
this
was?
one, what I'm talking
It's
about.
just my horrible memory coming back to play.
But no, it's like I just have very fond memories of watching this as a kid in the car. Just curious, do either of you guys remember, you know how DVDs would have like these awful little games built into the main menu, the mini games you could play?
Yeah.
And then you'd be like sliding down. You would be taking the trenches and you had to choose which path to go to get to the end.
Yeah.
Whoa, I missed out
I
on
never
that part of
played it,
childhood.
but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. There's just a specific memory of us having the remote in the car and like choosing the decisions as kids, and we'd all lose our minds. Like it was just,
That's awesome.
if Megan's listening to this, I'm hoping she's getting it right now, because like
Yeah.
that's a very specific
A
memory. But I
shared core
love this
memory.
movie.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. First impression is hard because, like you said, it hits the nostalgic factor.
Hmm.
And it's hard for me to remember like when my first time was watching the movie and what I first felt. But I just know it's always been a movie that I loved because it's a movie that came from growing up with my siblings and watching it, quoting it all the time, kind of laughing at Tank and all of his shenanigans all the time. Chicken Joe being like
Yes.
everybody's spirit animal. Like just so much about the movie was great. And I think what I remember the most is always just the end scene, which, spoiler alert, when they're surfing at the end at the North Beach, and just I think it's Into Yesterday.
Yeah.
Is the song playing at the very end of the movie. That song and that scene was a place of escape for me as a child. Like whenever I just wanted to be in a good mood or have a good time, put a smile on my own face, put a smile on the faces of those around me. It's like that was what I envisioned being what would make me happy. So just that movie itself, it played such an impact, which gives you the 11.5 out of 10. It hits everything, including the nostalgic value, which is normally irrelevant when it comes to like this kind of a podcast, but I think we've accepted nostalgia plays a factor.
Yeah, I do like the conclusion that we reached. I think it was the Shrek episode. That nostalgia is kind of what takes a 9 to a 10.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because a movie can hit everything perfectly, but if you don't have memories or feelings attached to it,
Mhm.
it's going to be a 9. It's not going to be a 10.
Well, and
Yeah.
our rating system has always been more of a personal, because
Yeah.
you can like a terrible movie. It's like it's a turd, but you could love it. Like,
Yeah.
and you could hate a really good movie. It's like it's not necessarily objective, and there
Mhm.
is no such thing as a perfect, except Shrek maybe, a perfect movie.
See, and I think I ran into that in the Wall-E episode, the last episode that we did, where I gave it a 9.8 out of 10.
Right. Yep.
The 0.2 that was missing was that nostalgic factor. I just
Yeah.
didn't feel that emotional connection from childhood.
Yep. Whereas me, I'm like, yo, little robots. Hit right there in the heart. Yeah, I think I don't remember the first time that I watched this movie. I just know that I've always remembered Chicken Joe, the surf scene where the scout finds Cody, and then Tank talking to his trophies. Like those 3 scenes were like embedded. So
that was embedded in your head.
that was embedded in my head. So when I did watch it as a kid, I remembered those. So I can just kind of go to how I felt watching it 2, 3, 4, however many weeks ago it was with you guys. And it's a feel-good movie that you can watch with friends. I didn't come away thinking, wow, or the cinematography was amazing. But you don't go into the movie expecting that. So you come away feeling really good, and you don't feel like you wasted your time.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, it's worth watching. And you can laugh
Exactly.
as well.
Yeah.
There's some good moments in that movie. We are going to segue into our favorite aspects of this movie. We've talked about our first impressions. What were the good things about Surf's Up? But before we get into that, let's listen to Jordan, a frequent and favorite contributor to the Serial Show.
What up, Serial Show? It's ya boy. It's Jordan, obviously. Just in case.
Our boy.
So the movie Surf's Up. I've actually never seen more than 5 minutes of it, but Drayton has perfect taste, so I'm sure it's immaculate. A total 10 out of 10.
You
and
gotta
I
send
can't
in a
wait
take
for
on 5
Seth
minutes.
to ruin Drayton's childhood once again by giving it a 6.8. So, now that that's out of the way, let's do a
What a
final
bum.
review of the Serial Show. Now, Seth, first let me say, I would love to roast you, but I don't think that any of us need that, at least at this moment. So we'll save that for another day. But it's been a great run, guys, for everything from tech review to movie reviews to laughing at Seth over his movie reviews. It's been a great run. I miss the days when you guys talked about tech news, because that's about the only time I learn about tech news. And it seems like tech has pretty much gone downhill since you guys stopped talking about it.
That's a
I
fact,
mean,
actually.
Since you guys stopped standing Elon Musk every week, he ruined Twitter. So maybe you guys should go back to making a tech show, actually. I don't know. Quinn, you're an icon and an inspiration, and you balance out the rest of them, and you speak for the everyman, and we appreciate that.
Amen. Amen.
Drayton, I don't know if I'm supposed to address you or not, because, like, I feel like they don't credit you as a part of the show, even though you are a part of the show. So I'm glad that you're bringing the run of the Serial Show to an end and seeking your own representation in the podcast space. Guys, you had a great run. I mean, every one of us has sat there while talking to a few of our friends and been like, you know what, we're pretty funny. We should have a podcast. But you guys actually went and did it. And only 90% of white dudes do that. So congrats.
Oh my God.
Hats off to you on a great career. I can't wait to see what you guys do next. Seth, I look forward to your biannual YouTube posts. And anyways, have a great life. Bye. Never talking to you again.
And there's a part 2.
We love you, Jordy.
Love you.
P.S.
Jordan.
I didn't take any notes. That was all from the hip, so I forgot one important thing. 6.8. 6.8.
My man.
You know what? Okay, here's the deal. If I don't have my own representation here as part of the Serial Show, how can 6.8 live on?
You're not taxed.
Look on the bright side. Also, yeah, we definitely don't credit you as much as we
Yeah.
should. You
Wait,
are
wait,
an
okay.
integral part of the show.
Nah.
Do we have the janitor like in the show notes as a description, or is it still Seth?
We
and
have
Quinn?
Drayton. No. If you look up on Spotify, it says, I think, Seth, Quinn, Drayton, that it's made by.
See, I just don't understand the point of representation. I really just show up. I mean, if we're being honest,
No
so
representation. No
I will take the
taxation.
non-representation. It's all good.
The podcast is a tax haven for all of us.
All these microphones, laptops.
Business expense.
Didn't we technically run an ad one time? And it was like a Spanish
yes.
ad for cereal.
Yeah,
It
guys,
was
we
like-
have. Well,
Oh my-
diving into the statistics of the cereal show, we've made 0.01 cents off of the cereal show. That one time that I tried the monetization feature.
Sounds like a business to me.
That-
Sounds like a-
exactly. Just don't let the IRS hear you
Also,
say that.
Jordan, 30-second news update. iPhone releases another phone without Type-C, which is bad. Chat GPTs are a pretty big thing,
Yes.
but they've probably dialed it down since then.
Yep.
Elon Musk is now a bad guy? Question mark.
Find out in the next episode.
I now feel bad putting my identity behind that man.
Yes.
So,
Oof. Yeah, that's rough.
yeah. No, actually, I just felt all of our old tech episodes are going to age really poorly. Like, Elon's the best! And
Okay,
now
but
it's
our
like,
investment advice weren't. But if you remember correctly, it was not investment advice.
Oh my
our non-investment advice was really bad like a month ago, but it's doing really good.
Doing really good now. Okay, this is a movie review of Surf's Up, we promise. We're just adding those. That was so good. Thank you so much, Jordan. You're a staple to the show, and you've put a lot in. We appreciate it. So now let's talk about some good things about this movie. You mentioned Quinn, mockumentary. Is it your thing? How did you like it with Surf's Up?
I think it brought such an interesting flair and style to this movie. It's like it just, and I don't know if it was like single-handedly what made this stand out as so different, because it's like normally you think of an animated shot and you've got the cheesy zoom ins, zoom outs. The camera's doing things that shouldn't be able to do.
Are you talking about Hoodwinked?
No, I'm talking about Black Panther and that awful fight sequence.
Whoa!
It's like that CGI awfulness.
Man, the
the very-
hottest take in the final
Wow,
episode.
I was gonna say, like,
I
leave
peaked my
Chadwick
audio.
alone.
No, not him personally, but the
Not
CGI
him personally,
department at
just the-
Marvel.
Yeah, no, that's some rushed CGI. Okay,
But- okay.
not to detract from it. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But like the whole thing was like natural camera movements, and it's interesting because I don't know if there was a single shot other than maybe like them on the beach where there wasn't a slight
Yeah.
move, like someone was holding the camera, and I don't have we seen that before in an animated movie?
Not to
know,
that degree.
I think I was actually looking for a fun fact on that, and I couldn't really find anything. But I do have fun facts related to the mockumentary style.
Dribby fun facts.
So, for instance, the layout department set up a special motion capture camera system on an old Sony video camera to give the illusion that the movie was actually being made with a real handheld video camera, and thus enhance the documentary atmosphere in the film.
Whoa.
Wow.
What's interesting is, it says, too, every single shot in the film features some film grain consistent with the documentary visual style.
Oh.
So we get that movement and the film grain in every single shot throughout the movie to maintain that
And
style.
that makes total sense because like we've seen, I mean, I don't know if you see, but like I've seen videos where someone will go in and edit a video and they'll just add shake.
Yeah.
And it looks so
100%.
unnatural and it's just,
Mhm.
it's almost nauseating. And I almost wonder if the film, because it is a 2007 movie.
Yep.
There's like elements of it that are kind of
Yeah.
2007.
Yep.
I wonder if the film grain is what helps with that.
I was
it has
just
to.
about to ask you guys, do you think the movie aged better because of the mockumentary style? Because if you think back, like some of those 2007, especially, I mean, this isn't Pixar, this is Sony. And Sony wasn't known for its best of class animation
Well,
work.
especially 3D at this
Yeah.
time
Yes.
too. Like Emperor's New Groove was 2D. That's the old
Yeah,
way
you're
of
right.
doing
The
it.
three-
Right.
Yeah. So I think the mockumentary style has helped it age better because anything that makes it feel old makes it feel the feel that the vibe that they're going with.
Yeah.
The little bit of shaky, the little bit of not the clearest, not the sharpest.
It also lined up some of the gags in it, like which I'm just realizing this is basically Office and Parks and Rec style, the mockumentary,
Yeah.
just an animated
Yeah.
form. Maybe that's why we all like this movie so much.
That's like
But-
when the camera follows Tankin to like his room.
Yes.
Like that is so. Yeah, you're right.
Or like
that
I
is
have this
Office.
one scene of Tank like taking out all these kids on their surfboards. Who's like, I hate Tank. He's like, do you remember the interview with the little penguins?
yes, the interview with
He's
the
like,
little.
Oh, man.
and like it's like just taken out.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like just like little clips like that, it feels so natural because it's like an interview style and they're showing
Yeah.
describing what they're saying. And like Seth, you've got the movements where they're like running with the camera. It just fits so well
Yep.
with this movie.
Mhm.
And just them in the jungle and just the little like even acknowledging them as a camera crew because it's
Yeah.
Z that's like, hey, no, like No cameras in
cameras.
here. Get
Throw
out.
shells.
Yeah, and then the little penguins.
Penguins.
Yeah, that like try to throw and like,
And actually hit the cameraman at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that that's
Wait,
just
wait.
fantastic.
Sorry to interrupt.
You're good.
The cameraman always survives. This is like the first movie.
Whoa, where he gets hit.
The cameraman is hurt in some meaningful way.
Interesting.
Did the cameraman die for the making of Surf's
Yo,
Up?
actually, we don't know.
Well, no,
maybe,
wow.
maybe that was Chicken Bob.
Chicken Bob the sequel.
Oh man,
Man. Well, there's a thought for you.
this movie was groundbreaking on multiple fronts. The first movie where the cameraman breaks, it was like breaking fourth wall, but also,
Right.
Yeah,
is
And-
it though?
that's historic.
That's
And the
very
fourth wall, like when the camera is like cracked, like the lens
Yes.
is cracked during one of those scenes, like that's something too that I remember just being like, whoa, like we're actually in a document, like
Yeah.
just that style. I
Yep.
thought that was really cool.
And it works well because it's the surfing community. It's what someone with a little like no budget, $200 camcorder would make
Right.
a documentary about.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing with Surf's Up.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
And like you said a minute ago, you said that they acknowledge them as like a camera crew.
Yeah.
I like that the way it starts, it's not just the style of film they go for. It actually plays into the storyline of we are actually making a film within the film
Yep.
of Cody Maverick or whoever it is that's going to win the surfing contest, like surfers from around the world winning the competition, competing in the competition, the behind the scenes, like it all contributes so much, not just to the style, but the plot as a whole too.
100%.
Yeah.
Mockumentary was a win.
Yeah. Totally.
Talking about another win, Chicken Joe.
Chicken Joe.
Like the best. I can't imagine this movie without Chicken Joe in it.
That cloud looks like a kitten.
Everything is so good. I can feel it in my nuggets.
Stone's chicken is best chicken.
Oh, and his little backstory killed me. Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Wasn't it? Was it Lake Michigan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Grew up surfing Lake Michigan
With
is the most hilarious thing. It's just awesome.
It's like his surfboard is a corn on the cob. Like it's
Yeah.
It's
Wait,
all
was
so
it?
great. Yeah, that's the paint job that they have on a surfboard. It's a corn on the cob.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never noticed that.
Yeah.
And that man is not sober for 1 second of this
No,
film.
it's so funny.
He is high as a kite.
Yeah.
But just his relationship with others is always cool. And even with the
Right.
penguins, how they play in, he becomes the little leader.
He's like the love of everyone's life.
Yes.
Like if that's in friendship form, like I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just so funny to me because every single person falls in love. Well, except for Tank Evans, obviously, but every single person, every single character in this movie, like falls in love with Chicken Joe.
Yep.
Everybody loves Joe.
Which is why you still feel good at the end of the movie, even though the protagonist didn't win what he set out to
Right.
do.
Yeah.
Because you love Chicken Joe. And it's still, that was one of the interesting things that I wrote down somewhere. Here it is. So there's a trope that the underdog doesn't lose. In most movies, it's like we see the underdog, we root for the underdog, and then the underdog wins, and we feel good. The underdog doesn't win in Surf's Up.
Mm.
So why do we feel happy? Well, Cody forfeited to save... Or was it Cody forfeited? Yeah, to save Joe. And
Yeah.
then he went in. So the bad guy didn't win. The protagonist, Cody, didn't win. But Chicken Joe won.
Mm.
And it's still like it completed the character arcs and we love Joe. So we still feel good at the end of it, even though the underdog didn't technically win.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because in the lesson that the movie's promoting, he kind of did win. Because basically they're saying, remember that like those interviews, they're asking, what's winning to you?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, the winning, and there's that guy in the cast
Yes.
who's like, it's like the winner is the surfer that
Yep.
has the most fun. And it's like, that's kind of the lesson was teaching was like winning, or basically life shouldn't be about the competition and winning being the sole factor.
Yep.
And it was interesting how they taught that lesson with Geek.
Right.
Because that was his sole focus for so long, it becomes a losing battle as you age, the up and coming come up, and how that destroyed him for a short while.
How he would rather just
Right.
have faked his own death and gone out of the public eye
So
than to
Exactly.
acknowledge that he was second place.
yeah, and Cody was going down that path, but learned the lesson that it's like it's not about winning; it's
Yep.
about having fun,
Right.
enjoying the moment. So it's like, I guess, yes, technically he didn't win, but it's like He kind of did. Like, if you're going
Yeah.
off the lesson of the movie.
He didn't win the competition.
Yeah.
But he won in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
kinda.
Which is kind of like the cheesy way of putting like the
Yeah,
lesson.
absolutely.
But I think too, like that's why everybody loves Chicken Joe. He's the guy that's just there having fun.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's the underlying lesson throughout. Chicken Joe is that constant of like the lesson succeeding.
Yes.
So like that's why I think everybody loves Chicken Joe, and just like you were pointing out, Quinn, it just points to the whole theme. Like every character contributes to the ultimate theme of like, hey, winning a competition is not everything here. Relationships, loyalty, those kinds of things, that's where you can really win in life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which reminds me, we got a take sent in. My voice just. We got a take sent in by a good friend and listener of the podcast, Joel. So I wanted to read it because it ties into the mockumentary theme.
Yes.
He said it's a pretty good movie. Would you take that, Drain? Pretty good?
I mean, I don't get representation here. I get 6.8. Like it's okay.
Pretty good's probably better than
I'm pretty
6.8.
used to this environment. now.
Man, you're getting used to it right before we wrap up. That's gotta wait till the end. But he says he agrees with us. I love the mockumentary style and how it was all done with the handheld film feel. And from the memory, the music was good as well. He loves those stylized kind of movies. And I think Drain would absolutely agree. I would concur.
Dude.
The music, the soundtrack.
When you
Soundtrack.
open with Green Day, I mean,
It
come
is-
on.
yeah.
Is the greatest soundtrack of all time in my opinion. I can't go that far maybe, but just like fits every vibe. Like
Yep.
honestly, you're going from like the Green Day starting off to like pumped up like
Mm-hmm.
competition kind of music to all of a sudden like you're just having the time of your life listening to a uke on a beach somewhere.
Yeah.
Like it's just man, it hits every happy vibe.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like it doesn't have the epicness of the Tron soundtrack, but it's like, come on. Like, you can't
Yeah.
help but jam out as
Yep.
you're listening
Like,
to the movie.
Into Yesterday.
What?
Into Yesterday.
Oh, yes.
The- Yeah. Like, good
That song.
vibes. And
Yeah.
they just, like, they paint the picture perfectly of just these penguins having no stress, just
Right.
learning their craft,
Mm.
having fun at the beach.
And I think that song in particular, Into Yesterday, is like what we've been talking about with Surf's Up itself as a movie, is you can watch it
Mm-hmm.
at any point in time
Yep.
and enjoy it. It's the same with that song. I feel like it doesn't matter what mood you're in, you can turn that on and you're instantly like, I've been transported to a beach.
It's feel good. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Something else about Chicken Joe. I got into, I don't know, maybe I'll link it in the show notes or something. I found this awesome website that I haven't found before about movie tropes.
Oh.
And it has a list of all the tropes that were in Surf's Up. And because they're like, a trope is something that is repeated amongst different movies, just like the one that we talked about, the underdog never loses.
Mhm.
It's kind of like you see that in multiple movies, so it becomes a trope. A trope doesn't mean that it doesn't take away from it.
Is it kind of the same as a cliche?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Without maybe the negative connotation.
Oh,
it
okay,
can
okay.
have the
Okay.
negative connotation if it's like overused or something, but it's just just because just because multiple stories begin with, I was going to say happily ever after, but that's how they end.
Oh.
Once upon a time. There it
Oh,
is.
I see.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
just because
Trope.
multiple stories start with once upon a time doesn't mean that the story is bad. It just means that they share that in common. They're using the same start. So tropes is something that movies can share in common, but depending on how it's used, can be used well. Like, I have some examples. So Chicken Joe is the trope called the Cloud Cuckoo Lander.
Wow.
Yes, he fits that well.
I was going to
Cloud
say, that's like,
Cuckoo Lander?
I think they named it after him.
I think so too. And some examples are like Phoebe is in Friends, or like Hank from Corner Gas. Joe
okay.
is to Surf's Up.
So like the ditzy character
The
that
ditzy
just
character-
brings happy vibes?
Yes, that brings happy
Sure,
vibes.
okay.
Everyone loves, and they like somehow avoid the pitfalls of the protagonist. We're just having a good time. Like Chicken Joe, that man steps right into like tribal people that are trying to eat him, and he walks out like their best friend.
Unscathed.
Okay,
Yeah.
Just,
So kind of just to like compare, so like Chicken Joe, would you say has like a flat character arc? Because there's no development really for him.
Yeah, that man's just floating
Yeah.
through life. Yeah, that's
and
that's
again,
just
it's that
happy
steady
vibe.
theme.
Yeah,
The steady theme.
Because like I wanted to compare him to Donkey from Shrek, because Donkey's kind of just the
Yeah.
comedic relief. But
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's the same because Donkey
Donkey
did
has a-
learn.
yeah.
He had an arc,
yep.
and he had serious moments, whereas Chicken Joe was just Chicken Joe.
Yeah.
Just like Phoebe. I mean, Phoebe had serious moments, but
I think she went through a character arc through the show.
She
through
did.
10. I mean, through
Yeah.
10 seasons, though. How are you gonna have a character that doesn't? That's in every
Yes.
episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's quite at the level of like. I guess with that show you can't even say main characters because they're all kind
They
of.
are.
Yeah.
But at least for that what is it called again?
The Cloud Cuckoo Lander.
Okay, for the Cloud Cuckoo Lander, I would say she had more of a character arc than what most others, like a Chicken Joe, would have.
Right. But they're also, like you said, different fields.
Right.
Yeah,
definitely.
especially because it is a series. You
Yeah.
have to, like, if you have a flat character throughout
Right.
10 seasons, no one's going to watch it.
Especially in every episode. Like,
Yes.
I get it if they come in once a season, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And Joe has maybe not a personality arc, but the things that happen to him change.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like, he just tackles them each way, but, like, he goes from not winning to being the winner.
Right.
Like, different things like that.
Yeah.
Like, it changes around him,
The like
which keeps it interesting.
the end of the movie when he like wins the competition and he's sitting there and he's like, I won?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like the look on his face, I feel like that should be a meme.
Yeah. And then the last trope, again, there's like a list, I'll link it, but is a mirror character. Someone that closely follows in the footsteps of another character, and that is Cody with Big Z.
Whoa.
Because he goes down the
sure.
exact, like he's going down the journey of Big Z.
That's what he wants. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he wants. He wants
It's
to be
not
the
just
winner.
what he wants, but he gets it. Yeah.
Yep. And he
Wow.
even to the point that, what's the girl penguin lifeguard? I forget her name.
Lonnie?
Yeah, but she's like, don't do this. And he's like, I have to win. Like, she had that one-on-one, the heart-to-heart with him, and he's still like, I got to do this. And then he was on his Big Z journey. So that they're a mirror
Interesting.
character, but still different characters on their own. But that's kind of the little
Right.
trick
But
used.
what's interesting is he's a mirror character, but I also feel like if you take it from Big Z's perspective, Geek's perspective, it's like Cody learned in the competition, whereas Big Z never did.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
almost like for him, he's passing on what he wished he could have done.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Cody actually does that in front of him, and like him coming back to see the competition and how, saving him out of the boneyards. Like, that's kind of a cool thought. Like a mirror character, but it continues like the character arc of the other person.
Yeah.
If they could rewrite their own history.
Yeah. So it's almost like, you're getting the first half as a mirror, but the story ends
Right.
differently.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah, it's some good.
This is
That
why I
got
like
deep.
this
There
show.
are some layers to this movie.
It's like, yeah, it's a kids movie, but man, it's like that. I love this. Like this is another reason why I'm gonna miss the show. I learned these
Yeah.
like bits, and then the only downer is I feel like I watch any other series and movie post serial show, I'm so much more critical.
Yeah,
It's like,
I
oh,
agree.
they're doing this. Like,
I
what
agree.
kind of a character arc is
What
that?
kind of a character?
I feel that as well. When we started the serial show, I was like, French New Wave cinema, black and whites,
Man.
and now I'm just like, when it's 6 months in between an episode, I'm like, yeah, Gilmore Girls, that's cinema, right? But I don't know. It can be nice, good to have a critical eye, but it's nice when you can turn it on and off.
Yeah.
I think. But this movie, it holds up to the critical eye, and it also, I was kind of plotting it in the 3-act structure.
Oh,
And
yes.
it lays perfectly. Like, it just hits each beat, has the climax. The climax is when Cody saves Chicken Joe from Tank, and then they stray into the boneyard. Third act halfway through. And then the climactic moment is when Big Z saves Cody from death.
Hmm.
And then resolution.
Wow.
Chicken Joe finds out that he won. And everyone's happy.
I feel like they pulled off the 3-act structure really well. It was kind of unfortunate right there. They pulled off the 3-act structure really well because, like, half the time, and that's been one of the things I've become more critical about as I watch series, is I hate when I can see it coming. It's like,
Right.
here comes the all is lost moment.
Yes.
Oh wow, they pulled out of the all is lost moment. You know, it's kind of like the, and in this case, I guess, trope of the plane goes down past the hill, and then like it shoots off.
Yes,
into the
you
distance.
think it's going to crash.
It's like-
Exactly. it's
it's-
covered by
Yeah.
the hills and then it shoots. Yeah.
It's done so many times. It's like you just know what's gonna happen. So it's like I like when a movie can do that and make it feel natural.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it really feels like they're doing it because we have to do the 3-act structure.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
have to have the all is lost moment.
And I think that goes back to like what you were saying is it's a little unorthodox in the sense that the protagonist wasn't the winner.
Yes.
So like is it kind of the same? Yes, but it's also kind of different, I think.
yeah.
And that's why it feels more natural.
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to think of the word. I guess just realistic that way.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more realistic to life. Is that are you always going to win everything as the protagonist in your life? No.
Yep.
But you can learn a lot of valuable lessons along the way.
Exactly. Which can make you, like you said earlier, win at life.
Mhm.
And you root for him because right from the very get-go, he's working hard. Like when you learn about his backstory, you see the other penguins there. You're like,
The
man,
way
this
his
guy
dad died.
That's another similarity in this is the dad's dying of the main character.
Actually, yeah.
Chicken Bob, and we got was it a whale or something? What got Cody's?
Yeah,
was
that's
that-
the picture of the orca,
The
like
orca,
about
yeah,
to
yeah.
take out his dad. Yeah,
That's
it's pretty
rough.
rough.
Full
Killer
of
whales,
fish,
man,
like-
they are killer.
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
like the family environment, I think having it mockumentary as well brought in you learn about the character without the info dump.
Right.
That a lot of like the people that are like, here's all the
Yeah.
context in 5 minutes, in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Where this, it's like, it flows.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm watching the documentary. They have to explain the backstory of the character, the parents, the sibling relationship.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. You said the family dynamic. I love so much. Glenn, his older brother, Cody's older
Yeah.
brother. It's like Cody goes from dealing with one bully as a big brother to
Yes.
another bully,
That,
but he's
oh,
learning
yeah.
like how to like handle a bully. You know.
Instead of being petty and like
Right.
fighting about
Yeah.
it, he's just
Yep.
And then oh my goodness, the end credits, the interview with Glenn and Cody's mom, and where he's like, "Well, oh, he lost. He lost. Oh, how bad was it? Like, did he really mess it up? Like, or whatever." And then by the end of the interview, the mom going, "Glenn, maybe one day you can be more like Cody." And he goes, "This interview is over." Like, it's
Yes.
so good, dude.
Yes.
I love it.
There's a full, character arc on even the brother.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. We
ad time.
are going to transition into our next community take.
Oh,
And that is going to be
Megan.
Maggie. An absolute thank you so much for sending in this take, because we know it's never easy to send in a take. Like, I don't know if we've acknowledged that before. There's
Yeah.
a lot of nervous energy that goes into
Right.
it. To just, I mean, we at least get to see each other when we record this. We
Yeah.
just record it into a phone and be like, people are going to listen to this in a day or two. Like, thank you
Right.
so much.
Yeah.
and not that we do this, but we get to record and go, you know what? I don't like that section, or
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really don't
Yeah.
like that I said that, or something. When you're doing a take, I can only
Mm-hmm.
imagine how much overthinking can be involved with that. Of I can't take this back. Like once
Yep.
they put this on a show, it's like there, you
Yep.
know.
So,
So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely appreciate the takes.
absolutely.
appreciate
Thank
you
you
guys.
so much. They have made the Zero Show the Zero
They
Show.
really have.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it wouldn't be the same without the community takes.
Exactly.
Oh,
And
100%.
with that said, let's give Megs our attention.
Mickey.
Hey, Serial Show hosts and all those tuning in. My name is Megan, and I'm coming in from the sunny island Bermuda. So I'm going to give Surf's Up an 8.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
Overall, I think the movie has a good message. That
gets a
message
nod
being
from
that what matters most isn't whether or not you're good at something, but rather that you're having fun while you do it.
Yes, Mickey.
To not let your pride get in the way of enjoying the things in life, to give the things you love your all, and to value the friends that you make along the way. The humor of this movie is also quite balanced, in my opinion. It does a good job of having equal parts of traditional kind of a sense of comedy, and then just enough left field random humor to keep things interesting.
Yes.
Most
I
of
like
the
that.
left field humor comes from Chicken Joe, which honestly I think we can all agree is a hero and a gift to mankind.
Absolutely.
Yes, Maggie.
I also, in my opinion, feel that the animation has stayed good quality through the years. For a movie that came out in 2007, you would expect there to be some scenes that, maybe look a little wonky and kind of bring you out of the experience, but really nowhere in the movie is there anything that at any point brings you out of the experience that the movie's giving. In that respect, it's quite impressive because a 16-year-old movie has honestly done better in this aspect than many recent movies have done.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy.
I also think that the movie was on point for the music. Artists like Green Day, Incubus, Pearl Jam. This was no small lineup of artists, and the movie did so well in maintaining the desired moods with the soundtracks they picked for different scenes. I really, really, really cannot praise their song choices high enough in this movie. Now, the reason for behind my 8.5 rating is that there are going to be other films out there that offer these same features, such as music choice, storyline, animation, and they're going to offer those features better. But
Get wrecked, Rain.
the thing about Surf's Up isn't that it was ever meant to be a movie that did any of those things the best ever. They kept this film lighthearted and fun, and doing that makes it easy to watch, and it always leaves you feeling good afterwards. While there's going to be some people who watch the movie and will forget it rather quickly, For many, it holds a very special place in nostalgia, and it's a movie that has you coming back time and time again. It's the type of film where no matter how many times you've seen it, it will lift your mood and you'll find yourself laughing. I think as a whole, Surf's Up is sorely underrated, but for those who recognize it for what it is, it's a gem of a movie. I also wanted to take a moment to say goodbye to the Serial Show.
Aww.
I grew up with all three of you boys, and I really loved tuning into this show because it always feels like I'm hanging out with you guys on a Friday night, even if in actuality I'm over 2,000 miles away. I always feel better after listening in. And while listening to this podcast, I've laughed, I've reflected, I've learned, I've raged, mostly at Seth. But ultimately, I am very, very sad to see you go. I wish you all the best, and until next time, I'm excited to see what you guys bring to the table in the future. Also, Chicken Joe for president. Peace out.
Joe for president.
Chicken Joe for president.
Thank you, Maggie.
Oh,
Thank you,
Megs.
Megan. That was
That-
wonderful.
Oh, my heart just got hit at the end.
I know.
Yeah, at some point I felt it coming on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether if it was in a take or for us just realizing getting towards the end of the episode, wow, this is really it.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's
solidified
starting
it.
for me
Oh
right
my
now is
goodness.
just, you know, I guess I forget how much it may mean to other people. Like we're just three guys getting together, hanging out, and like the movie, we're just having a fun
Yep.
time, you know, but
And we can't
Maggie
believe that
really-
people actually like to listen to this.
Yes.
right.
I used to.
Yeah, the fact that what is it? I heard something the other day where somebody was saying that on a podcast. They're just like, the fact that you listen to this, we have no idea why.
Mhm.
This is just us getting
Means
involved
a
in
lot.
shenanigans all the time, but we really appreciate it. That's
Yeah.
exactly how I feel with the
Yep.
Serial Show.
Yeah.
And also, pretty much everything Meg said is
Yeah,
like 100.
honestly,
But why
like,
we
spot
rambled
on.
for so long? We could have just been like, "This is the Serial Show."
Megan
Meg's-
basically was like the synopsis of this episode.
Yes.
We should
Yeah.
just like do a TLDR and like
Yep.
put Megan's bit in the front.
Nick,
Okay,
get out of here.
Okay, Megan just proved the point though. Why do people listen to this? It's like an hour-long episode. She just wrapped up in how many like
Exactly.
minutes? Like,
But maybe that's why people listen to it, to hear the community takes, to get the gist of
That's
it.
And then what it is.
They just skip to the notes.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Well, you know how people fall asleep to white noise?
we were making white noise. Yeah.
We are the white noise.
we are white noise.
Well, we are.
Man. That's been a
Also,
beautiful take. Thank you so
Megan
much.
growing up with us has a lot of blackmail.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
no, no,
appreciate
no,
you
no,
not
no.
bringing that
She
into the
held back.
review.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that actually, and I'm
Yep.
glad that most of your frustration was with Seth.
That's why I'm here, to be opinionated in all the wrong opinions. Man, okay, so to wrap up kind of on the Serial Show, not the Serial Show front.
Whoa, gosh. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I don't want to jump there.
Man.
Oh
That-
man,
I'm
dude.
trying to
That-
delay it.
Stop, Megan already. Come on.
You're
To
making
wrap,
us sad.
wrap up on the Surf's Up front, some nitpicks,
Nitpicks.
and some Dribby facts. So
'Cause
I only have one nitpick. It's real short.
Always end on a negative note.
Okay,
No, you're good.
I'll end on a Chicken Joe quote.
Oh, wait, no.
So a nitpick was, I think, right before the final race, there's a wide shot of all the surfers lined up, and in that shot, Cody has the big Z necklace on that he threw away earlier. So, like,
Really?
What?
I'm pretty sure.
I could pull it up right now.
So maybe at the very end, we will fact check this. The end of the episode will be like, Seth was wrong, or Seth was right.
Interesting.
So if I saw that right, this could be what was it that I did it really
if you're
bad?
right on that, that is a very valid
That's like-
nitpick.
I think this,
Giant.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's not a solo thing. I think it's solo. I had a nitpick that like got destroyed when I watched the movie again. I was like, man, I'm just dumb. But I think I genuinely, yeah.
I wonder if they did that, like that was a potential. They reworked the plot a little bit.
Maybe.
Where
Yeah,
perhaps
could
he
be.
still had the necklace.
Yeah. Yep.
'Cause,
It's
like,
either
that-
rework or just communication.
And just animation. If you already have a character kind of saved that you can just place in a
Yeah.
single shot, you know,
Yep.
like that. Yeah.
So that's my only nitpick. Otherwise, it's just like it's a good movie.
Question:
Yeah.
Yes.
Did they have a stand right in the beginning when they first got there, selling the big Z necklaces? I can't remember.
So like he might have got.
Like as a
I do-
souvenir.
I don't know if it's when they get there. I do believe there's a flashback at some point
Okay.
that
'Cause-
shows
I'm not
Big Z
sure.
necklaces being handed out, like
Yeah,
even beyond
that's
Cody's.
that's how Cody got his.
In Shiver.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, but it could like that could explain it away.
I have no idea. No, I think you're right though, because like I'd love to check that out. I'm gonna pull that up as soon as we're
Okay.
done.
Like you said, that'd be huge.
Yep.
Like
Mhm.
really, because that's a slip. I mean, that's a pretty big slip.
There we go.
Because that's a massive part of the plot.
Don't hype it up if it's false. But I'll feel pretty good if it's right.
Oh, if it's false, so you didn't cross-check this?
Well, we didn't have a lot of time. We only had 6 months
Wait.
between this and
Goodness,
Allegedly.
He can think really hard about 6.8, but he can accuse this wonderful movie without really knowing?
I said it's a nitpick. It's
No, I got you, dude. I
Wow.
got you.
Well, let's divert attention from Seth with a Dribby fact.
Ah, the Dribby fact. So I actually thought this was really interesting, and not to bring it back to kind of sadness with the serial show, but
But he's
sad.
about
I thought
to.
this applied pretty well. It says that all actors got to record in the same room together, which is unusual for an animated movie.
Oh, yeah.
However, due to some scheduling conflicts, Jeff Bridges and James Woods never got to record their voices together. But for the most part, I just thought that was interesting that they were recording in the same room. So kind of like what we're doing right now. And if you're watching on Spotify through the video, or through the camera, I should say, we're basically doing what Sir Sub did,
Yeah.
the way we're recording the episode. So I think that's really cool because I don't know about you guys, but going from Discord and Zoom days trying to
Yeah.
record a podcast to
Yep.
seeing you boys in person, it is night and day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's so much easier that way. And I wonder if that contributes so much to this next Dribby fact, which is that they were encouraged, many of the voice actors were encouraged to improvise their dialogue where appropriate. So being in the same room
Flipping chicken
Would
joke.
would have made
That's why
that
that
improvisation
guy.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It actually blows my mind they don't do that more often. Because, like, that.
Yeah,
I
right?
wonder if it's a quality thing. I mean, when you're in an isolated booth, you're going to get the best.
And
But again, Surf's Up isn't striving to be the best.
It's a
striving
mockumentary.
to have the good vibes.
yeah.
Right.
And putting everyone in the same room, even if it lowers the quality bit, brings the good vibes.
What I also wonder if, like, what Drayton said for part of it was scheduling issues. I mean, you've got some fairly big actors on here.
Right.
I don't know how big they are now. Shia LaBeouf, Jeff Bridges, John Heder.
Shia LaBeouf.
I mean, Shia LaBeouf, the cannibal.
Yes.
It deepens the lore further.
Oh my
Goodness,
God.
dude, what?
It's a reoccurring theme.
It's a recurring theme.
Man, I've found our trope of the serial show. It's not a good one.
Anyway, but like, because like you would think that would. I mean, like I said, quality, probably scheduling issues, but like that, if they make such a natural flow,
Yeah.
and I'm also impressed actors make it work
Oh, yeah.
to just like because the conversations flow so naturally. The fact they're not in the same room,
And that's why they're paid the big
and that's
bucks.
probably why
Right.
they're paid the big bucks.
Yeah. Just to have all of that feeling behind it too.
Mhm.
And just, I think we were talking about this earlier today. When you're having a conversation with someone, to have visual feedback, like instant feedback,
Yes.
that way, it has to make it flow so much easier. It's a natural conversation. And it seems like, it fits the mockumentary style
Mhm.
of like, we're just recording somebody's everyday life right now.
Yeah.
So like the natural conversations
Just have
taking
people
place,
in
the
the same
feeling,
room. Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yep.
I think it matched up really well.
So whether it was scheduling or not, or if they made the conscious decision, like we want everyone, that was a great move.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Totally.
So a good line to end on another good line. I keep saying end, to not end the whole thing.
You just got to use
Delaying
different
it.
terminology
To
to finish this segment.
So yeah, finish the second. There we
Yeah.
go. So one of my favorites is when it cuts to the sea urchin. And like stepped on me. Are you kidding? This guy was dancing on me. I mean, just look at this. Broken, gone, broken. That, like, just those little cut-tos are amazing and just highlight the mockumentary, like the Office kind of style.
Yeah.
And it killed me, that guy.
Yeah, the little kids being interviewed too, like the
Yes.
different interviews with all the little siblings.
Tank is a
Amazing.
dirty trash can full of poop.
Yes.
We still quote that to each other.
Oh, smudge.
Yes.
I love it.
And yeah, just one of the most iconic lines when Tank is showing his trophies
Oh,
and the documentary guy's going like, just these are my ladies. I can't do it with
These
a
are my
straight
ladies.
face.
there you go. Do it.
These are my ladies. Yeah. This spot right here, saving it for a very special lady. Her name's Leah. Oh, let me say that again. Leah.
So
I
good.
apologize to the audience that's just
That had to
listening, and you
listen to
can't
that.
at least enjoy seeing us laugh about it.
That absolutely killed me.
There's a
when
very
he-
specific meme where he's like kind of like doing this
Yeah.
posture,
Yes.
and I just want to overlay Drayton right there with that because that's like exactly what he's saying.
We might be able to arrange that afterwards. We'll see.
Probably.
It could be like, imagine recording in an area with some good friends that you've been recording with for like a few weeks, and like you have a line like that in the script, of course you're gonna put everything into it, like do it over the top.
Yeah.
Which he does, and he does it so well.
Yeah. Tank, are you polishing your trophies again?
I was gonna say,
No, Mom. I was talking to my friends. I'm gonna be polishing later.
Everything is, oh man, and you hate Tank so much. Like
But
they make
He's such a hateable character.
hateable character. They did so well with the
Yeah.
bully.
you can't have her.
You can't have her.
Yes.
Yeah, and speaking of, quick Dribby fact
Yes.
on that.
Yes.
So Diedrich Bader, I can't figure out how to pronounce his name, but he is the guy that plays Tank's voice, or does the voice of Tank. He's not just the voice of Tank.
What?
This is actually really interesting.
Oh.
He also provides the voice of Tank's mother, but it's
Really?
uncredited because of how little she's used. It's like that one line.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's the same
That's
guy.
amazing.
I can just
Basically what I just did.
Yeah.
I could just picture him in the studio with like this real deep
Yep.
like voice. Like,
Tank, are you polishing your trophies?
and just like doing that in one take, like just
Yeah.
switching. I could
Right?
see 100%.
That would be hilarious.
That's awesome.
also, I'm trying to remember his name. Reggie Belafonte.
Reggie Belafonte.
Belafonte. Oh, is it
Ooh,
E's
that's-
pronounced? It's like
yeah.
Porsche. What? It was like, do you see me? The happiness emanating from me. Like that's just.
Oh yes.
I love that character.
Yep.
Like he's another very well crafted,
Right.
hateable character.
So hateable. He's like, look at his little feet.
Yes.
Tick, 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 boom, chicka, boom, chicka. What's the boom, chicka, boom?
What is the little
Oh, the bird,
bird? What's the bird's name?
Oh, whoa. How am I forgetting?
Mikey.
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 Yeah, it's Mikey.
Yeah, it is Mikey.
Did not know that was his last
I-
name, but
Mikey is
What's his last name?
Abro
Abramowitz.
Bromowitz.
Whoa, that's crazy.
That's a fancy little duck
Wow.
chicken.
World building.
fancy little what?
What?
Duck chicken. I don't know
Duck
what
chicken.
it is. But he's an underrated character. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go out like he carries a lot of this film behind the scenes. Like that little like
Yeah.
time lapse of him putting everything together.
Yes. Where
That
he's
guy's
like
awesome.
breathing at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
The worn out assistant of like every
Yes.
CEO that
Yeah.
like does everything behind
Which
the
Getting a
again-
scenes.
migraine over
It-
this. Like, what
It's a trope, but it does it really well. in
Right.
this. It's just from the very get go, you're introduced to his character, but he helps like set off a lot of the events, but also shows some kindness when he's like, okay, fine, you can come, kid. You can come aboard, kid.
Okay, hot take.
Okay.
I feel like Surf's Up has a lot of tropes in it,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't stand out as a trope. Like they do a really good job of merging everything together
Yep.
and fulfilling a role that's tweaked just a little bit. So it's not the like stereotypical trope that we may be looking for, but it falls into the category. They just make it mesh so well that it doesn't really hit you unless you
Yeah.
are really looking for it.
Well, I guess that kind of goes back to the point we were saying earlier. Is like they did it in a way that feels real,
Yep.
Right.
natural, not like they're sitting there in the boardroom writing the script and go, oh, let's have the nervous, tired assistant.
Right.
Yes.
It's just like they wrote the character that happened to be the
Mhm.
tired,
Yep.
anxious assistant. It just flows so well and is natural. Like but that is interesting because they do have a lot of tropes in this
Yeah,
movie.
I mean, there's a lot of, which you said it earlier, technically a trope's not a cliche, but there's a lot of cliches
Yeah.
throughout this movie, but they do a good job of not making it cliche,
Yeah.
even though it's cliche.
Yep. No, 100%. It didn't give off the like white chicks kind of
Oh
early
my.
2000s.
I can't believe you brought that in. This is a family show.
This is a family show.
Different parents' guide on that one.
Terry likes.
Ew.
But-
Oh, come on. Let's get back to
to
Chicken Joe.
transition, let's use another community take to transition
Yes.
to then just talking about the serial show in the very final episode. And then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
So let's give Devin,
good.
Devy boy,
Devin.
a listen. Thank you, Devin.
Since it's your last episode, thank you so much for all the hard work you boys have put in over the past couple of years. It has been an amazing, amazing ride. Loved all the episodes, and it was just so awesome to watch you guys go through it. Surf's Up review, 10 out of 10. Chicken Joe, man. You know, like, this guy's a goat. Big Z's a G.
Yes!
You know, Cody Maverick's Cody Maverick, and, you know, like,
He's the Maverick.
yeah. Honestly, just like Chicken Joe, man. Chicken Joe.
Chicken Joe.
That is awesome. The second take that's ended with like Chicken
Chicken
Joe.
Joe.
Chicken
Joe.
Joe for president.
He
Yes.
carries the movie. Let's be
does.
honest.
He's amazing.
It would not be the same without Chicken
No,
Joe.
Yeah.
it would not.
Oh,
Not at
and
all.
Dev, thank you so much for like being out and about in Alaska rock climbing and still sending in a take.
Yeah.
Right.
For real.
Thank you, Dev.
Like Devin throughout the series has been
He's been awesome.
insane. I honestly think Devin could do his own 2-3 minute summary.
100%.
I know.
Like, was
He
that
killed it.
Tron he did? It was like
Oh.
flipping insane. Like
Mhm.
just how well condensed
Yep.
and like also awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
Like
I'm telling you, the community makes the show. You guys have sent in some outstanding takes that just blow our mind every time.
Right, he's sitting there going, "I'm so glad you guys went for it." It's like, Devin, why don't you go for it? Dude? Start a podcast, man. Like
What?
our community's way more talented than we are. Like,
Bringing Jordan's back. 90% of white guys. That's still, that was the funniest thing. Oh my goodness. So now a trip down memory lane
ooh.
of
Oh,
Serial
man.
Show. As we wrap up the episode,
ooh.
let's think about how the episode started. So Quinn, this was before we got into Janitor. That's absolutely revolutionized our. We got to talk about what episode it was we brought Dribby into.
What?
But we
Hmm.
started in a library pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
I don't know how we had the. No, okay, you tell it.
Just what I remember.
Well, how was it that we had the idea for a podcast? Do you remember that?
Good Lord, how did we have an idea for a pod? Was it like based off of Wan show?
Maybe that, and I think wasn't there like a family member or something that was like, you guys are just always talking about tech when you're together, and then we
That
did
sounds
road
like
trips to Goodland, Kansas, like hours, and we would just
Oh.
talk tech,
Oh,
catch
yeah,
each
yeah.
other up,
Yeah.
and there were people that were like, you guys should just like hit record and put it on the internet.
That sounds like your mom. I don't know if I should say
Probably.
names, but like that
That
totally
sounds like such a
oh,
joke,
Mom.
but that's serious.
Yeah, no,
but
that's
it-
totally serious.
Yeah, probably.
'Cause-
And we just, we went for it before we knew COVID was a thing. I rented out a room at the library.
Mm-hmm.
We got in, we brought some little like hodgepodge recording gear. Not like
That's
nothing that we
crazy.
have now.
What?
And the fan was in that room
Yeah.
and it was so loud.
Well, there was nothing. Imagine a perfect cube
Yeah. It's like
with
sterile
nothing, nothing on the walls,
Yep.
nothing to absorb sound.
room. Yep.
So it's this echoey mess. And on top of that, we didn't even have like these type of microphones that are condensed.
Right.
We had like what doctors use to record their notes that the assistants typed out. You know, that type of
yes,
thing.
Yes, we had little handheld
Little
recorders.
handheld recorders like
Wow.
for Folly or something.
Oh,
Wow.
what I'm learning right now is the Serial Show has had its own arc. Like
Yes.
100%.
Wow.
The
Yeah,
like the
and now we're
quality,
ending with
hopefully.
the video and
Yeah.
Oh, and
That's
production
crazy.
quality,
Yeah.
like
Drayton
Right.
hit
Wow.
that.
February
The-
16th, 2020 was the
Yeah.
release of episode 1.
Yep, February 16th, which we probably
Dude,
recorded like
we
end of
almost-
January. or
it's
something.
going to be almost 3 years because it's February 5 as of recording this. So by
Wow.
the time it
Another
releases,
10 days.
By the
from
time
now.
this releases, for sure,
It's-
I'm gonna take a while to.
it's basically 3 years.
Yeah.
Man.
Wow, 3 years.
Wow.
And my voice has changed. Thank goodness. All the audio equipment has just got better, and I've got better with an EQ. But man, yeah, those were the days. And then we quickly pivoted because I remember coming over to Quinn's place,
Mhm.
and we recorded here because at least I could get a sound profile. Sound sources were manageable, and it was better.
Yeah.
And then that was when there was like we first read a news article about COVID in China or something.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't over here yet. And then like our life changed drastically over the coming episodes, and then we pivoted to Discord or something to
yeah, because we
record.
I forget how that went, but I mean, I do know we're not doing the library again after the first one.
Yes, I
Yeah.
spent so much time trying to like that taught me a lot. Having a bad experience and trying to make something work.
Yeah. I mean, did we even get a sound profile for there?
I have a sound profile.
Oh, you do.
You
In
do?
my like saved like a preset, and it's just like the library, all caps,
Oh man,
and I hate it.
I'm
That's
amazed you've
nuts.
kept it this long. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Like, when are you ever gonna do that?
Now, whenever I use it on like good audio, it just destroys it.
Okay, sorry, side point, but like that was the other thing with the library. I know we've moved on, but like because it was so echoey, they had like a glass door. Like you know how
Yeah.
modern offices have sacrificed form over function.
Yep.
They have like these glass doors that don't actually block that much sound. Because it was so echoey, we couldn't get excited because
That's
there's like people
right.
outside studying. I mean, it's a college town. Like
Yep.
we can't be
Man.
screaming in the office.
Yep. We're like whisper excited about what's the title of the first episode?
Title is Subpar Audio Quality, Samsung's latest phone, Tesla's Superstock, that aged poorly, and PS5 pricing.
Man, And that Galaxy phone was not
The
the new one.
the S20s.
S20, man. That's crazy. So, yeah, and then we adapted during the pandemic. It was one of the things, we've talked about this, all three boys. We probably got even busier during the pandemic.
Oh, 100.
We were just like, hobbies? Let's have all of them.
Yeah. Well, it was like, I think there was an initial dip when
Yep.
everything shut down, and then it was like,
Yeah.
oh,
I remember having like an afternoon or a whole day, and I'd just spend on show notes for the just researching tech stuff and then
'Cause
sending
we-
it to you. And
we'd both pick topics.
yep,
We try and do like a one or two topics. Feels like kind of most things with this show. I'd like pitching on a couple things, but you pretty much carried it. Like you just Seth would show up with like 3-4 topics, and I'd show up like with one or two. I had like one or two that I'd like to be prepared on. So like for example, any SpaceX things,
yes, you brought the space.
I tried to be like at least equipped
Yep,
to explain that
and
somewhat.
we even because at the start, like mid 2020, everyone was free. Like no one was busy.
Yeah.
So we started doing interviews.
Interviews.
And that was a weird
It was like an enjoyable chapter, but like
chapter.
really weird because it's like
Yeah.
some of the people I didn't know super well. So you're like
Yeah.
trying to think of like questions, and you're like realizing I've never interviewed someone
Yep.
before. Like it was quite the learning curve because like at least you and I, we had like for sure chemistry. But then, like, you'd have someone else
Throwing
on, you're
someone
like,
else, yeah.
what questions should I ask? How talkative are
Yep.
they? Like,
That I think it was good experience.
It was.
And some awesome people because we had Jordan on, and that was like before I had almost died 3 times in Utah with Jordan. So that was like pre our bike packet. Like OG Jordan, Mark. We had Gabe, photographer, as well as Angel, photographer, videographer, and Elijah. Like people that we've gotten closer with now. It is really cool that we were able to interview them.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
it is weird. Like, I will say, just on another note, like one part of the serial show I don't miss, but kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
Ad spots.
Yes.
Ad spots.
If you, and we're not recommending this,
No, we
go to
wouldn't,
like
no.
the first few episodes. We had this thing instead of community takes, I guess. The thing that made us unique.
Pre-community.
Yes. When it was just Quinn, we would make these random ads for cereal.
Well, it's the cereal show.
Yeah,
you
that's-
gotta have cereal
Right.
somewhere in theory.
Yep. Man, if I better listen to those back and see like if Chex Mix or something. Not Chex Mix. That's not cereal. That's a snack. But if wow, I had one job.
We
to
made
name
it
a
this
cereal.
far.
If Apple Jacks.
Apple Jacks.
There we go. Have used like something that we came up with, we could sue. We could finally be profitable.
Did we ever trademark it? How's that work?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
If you don't want to become an Applejack, eat only so much of our product.
Eat. Oh.
And so Drayton got brought in because we did like a Tesla
Battery
battery.
Day.
It was
Day.
Battery Day.
Battery
September
Day.
29th, 2020.
And Drayton saved our bacon so hard because, like, basically my understanding of a battery was like, so there's an anode and there's a cathode, and it flows from one side to the other. And I'm like, batteries. That's it.
And I didn't do much research, but we were like gung ho to make it an episode.
Yeah.
And Drayton just came in and was like, "Yo, I researched this stuff beforehand. Let me lay it out." And just instantly we had a dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember taking that episode so seriously because at the time there was no like future for me on the serial show. It was just
Yeah.
be on for an episode.
That's wild.
So I was like, make
Really?
it count. If I'm going to be on a podcast with some of my best friends, I need to make it count. I actually need to be somewhat prepared
It
here.
was 2020 when we had time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I just remember like the amount of notes that I took on that episode. Like I had 2 full sheets of paper that were
Wow.
just explaining the breakdown of a battery.
This man learned chemistry. Like,
Yeah.
this man took a college grade chemistry course for the Zero Show.
And as a result, the chemistry of the show was improved.
Boom.
There
Look
we
at that
go.
transition right there.
Lithium iron phosphate, baby.
Beautiful. And it really has. Because I think we got into movies more. We went through like just having meeting a bunch of friends on Zoom.
Yeah.
And then having like sharing with them the podcast. And it's just something that not everyone is as interested in tech as us. And we don't take offenses at that. But movies is something that everyone has an opinion about.
Yeah. Well,
And everyone likes movies.
and they also are timeless, air
Yeah.
quote.
Yes.
Because like a tech, I mean, who cares about the Samsung Flip and the S20?
I'm
like,
never
it's-
listening to that
No one's
episode.
ever listening to that again.
Mhm.
I think the only thing we did was maybe the toilet paper craze early COVID.
Yeah.
We talked about that. Like that was
Yeah.
Can I throw you guys back for a second?
sure.
I Am Mother.
Yes.
That's
Our
the
very
first movie review?
Yep.
That is insane. That feels like an eternity ago.
Yeah. There's a bit of a story behind this because we wanted to transition to something that more people would enjoy and like could contribute to movies. But a lot of that thinking was after I Am Mother. I Am Mother happened because of a very specific reason, Quinn.
Yes. I saw it late at night.
Yep.
And I was like one of those ones like I watched the trailer, I'm like, this is interesting. I started it, and it's one of those movies like I didn't mean to finish, but it was like 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Seth has to see this movie.
And when do you think you watched the movie?
I
2019?
don't know. Let's do a quick Google. When was the movie released?
It's probably because I feel like on our way to Goodland, you mentioned that I should watch that movie.
I did.
So it was easily 2019.
I just remember even before that episode, like the amount of times I heard Quinn mention the movie and go, Seth,
Have you seen it?
have you seen it yet? And Seth continuously being like, nah, I'm just waiting around. Like, maybe I'll watch it with you guys one of these days.
It was like he was like, yeah, I'd be down to watch it, and it just like never happened for like almost a year.
Quinn's like, why are you watching all these crappy black and white old movies,
Yeah.
but not my movie?
I Am Mother. Like, and also, so like I know a certain cousin of mine that doesn't care for the movie, but it's like I knew Seth would love it, like the way it was structured, the plot twist, and it was just like I couldn't wait to show him the movie. And yeah, I'm looking at it, November 2020.
Wow.
Man.
So it's like I probably watched it late 2019. It came out in 2019, so it couldn't have been before that. So
a year.
maybe a
Right.
year.
And I think that was the joke, is that it took a year for me to watch that movie. And we made it a serial show episode. And
We
we're
did.
like, hey, because at that point I was also in my IMDb phase where this is how I knew I had time on my hands. I would write like 500, I was like a film kid that at heart, 1,000-word essays and post them on IMDb for no one to read. But it made me feel like an intellect. And so the thought of like doing that on the serial show, I was like, oh, well, movie review. And get all of our opinions on it.
It's also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And we had the janitor on back on for
Yes.
that one. We continue the Drayton legacy.
That's what I was
the Three
about to say.
Amigos.
Is like, actually, I think you touched on it earlier. Is we didn't decide at that point that movie reviews were going to be a regular thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just like a, hey, Drayton, you want to jump on this?
Yep,
Because we
let's try
watched the movie, all three of us together, and we were like,
Yep.
hey, let's just like record a podcast episode over at Drayton. You want to hop back in on it? Like just a movie review. I had no idea what I was getting myself
No, you
into.
didn't.
I don't take it back at all, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
And our dynamic just worked really, really well.
Yeah.
What everyone brought to the table. Okay, here's what we rated it. Would you change your ratings?
Oh,
We rated it, Quinn rated it a 9.
Ooh. Was this before the summer system?
I think this was...
Or did we make
I think that's
summer...
before the summer system, right?
Okay. By the way, summer system is the rating system Seth came up with, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, should we say what the ratings are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Got it pulled up.
Can we? What does summer stand for again? It's
Seth's
SUMR.
movie.
Or is it Seth's
Rating
like
system?
ultimate movie?
Yeah, because we added a letter to
Yeah,
make it
to
summers.
make it
Seth's ultimate movie rating system is what it was for a
yeah,
while,
I
but then
think
we
that
just
is-
refined it to summer.
Yeah.
Which it's not something, I think I probably stole ideas from like
Right.
people and just put it
So-
together.
Plagiarism is good for the soul.
Exactly.
Yeah, clearly someone else thought it was good enough. Okay, 1 is terrible, 2 is very poor, 3 is pretty lame. Actually, I've never looked at like the bottom 3. It's
Right.
awful.
Thankfully, we haven't watched movies.
I feel like we didn't pick a movie to trash on because
Yeah.
we didn't want to just.
I didn't
want
wanna
to
waste my time.
on someone else's like childhood favorite movie. We're like, this
Facts.
is awful.
When you go the negative route, you always run that risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, look what 6.8 got me.
Yeah.
And that's above a
You
5.
got death
Hey,
threats
buddy,
for 6
you
points.
deserved that. You knew what you were doing.
4 is passable. 5 is average. 6 is good. 7 is worth watching. 8 is very good.
Ooh.
9 is near masterpiece. 10 masterpiece. And then 12.5 or 11.5 is surfs up.
Huh. Okay, what was 5 again? Because our lowest rating ever on the serial show is 5.5.
5 is average.
And it is Spider-Man 2002.
Okay, that's probably
That one got 6.5 from Quinn, 5.5 from me, and 5.9 from Drayton. That was a pretty...
Was that our lowest like average?
See,
I think that was our
And
lowest average.
That one's
movie.
still tough too because as a movie itself, as a production, awful. For the nostalgic value, great. So
Yeah.
possibly could have been lower than
Could-
that if it weren't
Yeah.
for the
The
fact that it was
nostalgia way?
yeah.
Yeah,
and I think that's important to remember too. Is this is like our personal rating,
Right,
not,
right.
not
Yeah,
critical.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which again, like Spider-Man 2002, that is some people's favorite Spider-Man.
Mhm.
But generally not because it's an amazing movie.
Yes,
It's because
yes.
it's
I
like
The
Have you
nostalgic
seen-
value.
Yep. Have you seen Into the Spider-Verse, which was the second movie
That
we
is
did?
so crazy to
I
me.
know.
We we picked some weird movies, but some good movies
We
to
did.
start with. I don't know why we picked that one, but
I think
it was great.
it was such a good. What you were gonna say?
Sorry, I was just gonna say. I think it actually started. This is where the community was starting to get involved. As people were like, "Oh, you guys are doing movie reviews," and I think I want to say there was a Zoom movie night that we were on. We watched the Spider-Verse, or at least it came up in conversation, and a group of people were talking about how incredible it was. And so we were like, we have to review that. If this is how people feel about it, it's something we need to watch.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think you're right. We started to see the community come together for Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
Emperor's New Groove was our third movie, and that one got people involved vocally. Hate mail, death threats.
You've got hate mail. Your hate mail inbox is full.
Oh my
and
goodness.
I exaggerating because that's what I'm doing right now. But I think that kind of really got the ball rolling because it was Rogue One that we started hot takes. Oh, community takes.
Was it? Wait, was it?
Yeah, Rogue One with Star Wars.
Well, and I love it too. I know we did that with I Am Mother. I think that was us just kind of figuring out. But I also think Spider-Verse and just going on from there. But I think Spider-Verse really kicked off the technical side.
Yes.
Because like you would come in with structures. We talked about how they edited on twos.
Yep, I still remember.
Yeah. So it's like, and that kind of kicked off, sadly, into Emperor's New Groove, where you approached it with a critical eye, but ultimately was for the better, because it's like I think that was kind of the fun thing about it. Is it's like the three of us talking about movies, but there's also like things to learn.
Yes.
About structures, and it's like I really enjoyed that.
Yep.
With these movie reviews.
That's always been one of my goals. Like if someone can take away a piece of knowledge, because that's a piece of knowledge that we've had to acquire. Like we don't just know this stuff. We learn it for the podcast. It's a hobby, something like that.
Right.
To be able to share that and our opinions, whether popular or unpopular, is really cool.
And I think that's where we all fell in love with it. Like this dynamic was great in itself, and I think we just loved hanging out. But falling in love with creating a podcast episode, having a community involved, all that was surrounded by learning.
Yeah.
Being involved in movies, watching movies with a purpose. It wasn't just
with a notepad out.
Right. It's not just passing time. Like we actually had a purpose behind it. With everybody involved too, I feel like we just connected with each other and with other people in a different way than what we had experienced before.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we went on Fantastic Mr. Fox, one of my favorite movies, Tron, The Iron Giant.
Oh man.
And I have The Iron Giant is when story time happened, because that was right after I got my pin from Jordan.
Right.
Which what a good friend, sending me something because he knew it was my favorite movie, and me throwing it in the trash because I thought I was gonna die.
I actually didn't realize you threw it in the trash.
Yeah, I was re-listening to it today, and I'm like, wow, that was. I'm sorry, Jordan.
What's the expression?
Sorry, Jordy.
Sorry, Jordan.
We're tying up the loose ends here. This is the apology that I've taken a long time.
This is Seth's apology letter to like everybody he's made upset.
I'm just gonna title the video our apology.
We messed up.
Roping you guys in as with.
That's
with
the
me.
embodiment of
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, but it's something that I'm gonna have to edit out of the podcast. Which, speaking of which, Quinn, has there ever been any censorship from me?
It's like the CCP over here. I get censored all the time. I'm just speaking my mind, being a Kansas cowboy, and I get censored up in here.
Quinn has been an amazing sport.
Well, and it's for the best. But there have been times where, like, I made a joke, something. Like in hindsight was for the best, but like I'd make a joke about a certain meme number, and then he'd cut it. Yeah, Drayton knows.
That's right.
Knows.
I think that was the very first censorship.
Yes,
that.
And then I think Quinn was listening to it, and he's like, "Wait, didn't I say a joke here?" And he texted me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, about that, bro. I've been secretly censoring you and I to make us look really good, so that in 10 years we don't look back and think, wow, I shouldn't have put that on the internet."
It's always a family show.
Yeah, always a family show.
But I didn't cut out 6.8. My mistake there.
Yeah, that was okay. That was an okay number.
Oh man,
not as nice, but
but that's a funny little.
Yeah. Like I get for the best, because I mean we're here to have fun. We don't need to offend anybody. But it's like sometimes I go off the rails, or like I'll explain an expression, and I don't know, maybe
it's like this isn't pop culture anymore.
Yeah, this isn't pop culture, or like maybe just super niche and nobody's gonna get this. It's like why do we have this on here?
But we balance each other out, because there's definitely times when I've overthought something, and being like, "Hey Quinn, do you think people would be offended by this?" And it's like, no normal functioning person would get offended by this. Wait, that's an offensive thing that I just said. Man,
leave it in.
I need the censorship.
Hey, the show's expiring. If people get offended, then
That's true.
not
There's
gonna
no
affect future
apology
episodes.
video
Yeah.
coming after.
And I feel like that's a fun thing with the dynamic, and you can see it in the seating as well. Seth and I are on opposite ends of the spectrum, and then
Yeah.
Drayton has always been the balancing
Yep.
factor in the middle. Like on,
You know, but
all
what's
things.
interesting, guess who Jordan gave credit to for being the balancing act?
That's true.
Quinn got the nod for that. Balancing and speaking for the everyday
yeah,
person.
I know
I can't remember how he
I know
said it.
specifically what he's referencing, though. There was that Star Wars episode where Seth made
Yeah.
a fool of himself. To put it
Oof.
nicely. Sorry.
Solar.
I should be more
Oh,
Seth.
Solo. That's
So-
right.
Yeah, that
Where
one's
there
rough.
was a point Seth didn't slightly misunderstood, or like he didn't catch.
I
in the
appreciate the
previous scene.
slightly.
But it's like I think that's what Jordan was
so.
referencing, because
Yeah.
it's like that was
When you're always able to like just break things down
Mm.
and come at it. Yeah.
I'm a simple
Right.
man.
I'm a simple man.
man.
And then, so we went on to do the Truman Show next, which is
Wow.
the episode where Jordan gave his side of the Button story and it proved his innocence and that he was just doing a good friend thing.
And a meme was born.
And Drain and I gave the same rating for the Truman Show
Really?
to the decimal point,
Whoa.
8.3.
Oh,
And I was,
Interesting.
wow. And then Quinn gave a 6.
Oof.
really?
Yep.
Wow. It was a weird.
It is a
movie.
weird movie.
Hold
and
up.
if it's not
It
your
is
vibe,
different.
that's okay.
Hold up. It was good on the summer system.
Yeah, that's still a good. A
I
6
am-
is still good.
I am curious, or were we getting to the end of that? Because I wonder if I'd revise it now.
Oh yeah, are we?
Yeah,
What was the original question? You started with which one we might go back and change.
yeah. If there's any that you look back and you're like, I'm pretty happy with a lot of my reviews. Like
Of course you
ratings.
are.
Wow. Now I sound stuck up, don't I? Guys, I secretly hate one of them and I'm really insecure about it. But I'm not telling you which one it is.
Wait, really?
And I'm just making that to the.
Wait, what?
No, really? I want to know.
So Solar 6.3. The question
I think
is,
Jordan's gonna send him an actual.
I know, right? Jordan's like, I don't need to send in a take
I don't-
anymore. This is personal.
Would Seth still rate Solo a 6.3 if he actually understood it and paid attention to the movie? That's a good question.
Oh, wait, would you still call Rogue One Jyn Erso a flat character arc?
Oh,
Ooh.
I
That's
probably
like-
would. That's really bold.
That's like the
but-
most contested. I can get on board with the Emperor's New Groove outside of the meme.
Yeah.
No,
Whoa.
outside of the meme.
I got you.
Because-
Tying
But I legitimately have issue
with the flat
with
character.
the Rogue One flat.
Yeah, I
character.
feel like I've needed to be reined in with some of
No,
my.
you're probably right. Which is the irritating thing. Like you're probably very right. It's just like that's the one thing I'm like, I refuse to like give up
Yeah.
on arguing
Right.
because I
Fight
believe
this
it's
till
so
you die.
firmly.
Yeah.
We'll get. Maybe we'll be on a reaction channel of someone that actually knows what they're talking about, and they'll be like, "Seth was completely wrong here. Quinn, the simple man, knew what he was talking."
Simple-minded folks.
I
You know?
think when you're like in your own wheelhouse too, and somebody comes
Yeah.
in with a really strong opinion, it is so hard
Yeah.
to like not get hyped over that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep. No, 100%. And so then we had Shrek. It's like an all-time favorite. If you guys ever like, yeah, and the takes that were sent in, cameo with the kazoo, and then the wind stabbers.
Oh, yeah,
It's
The
just
Man.
like
musical takes.
That was like
yes.
that's like probably the one of the. That was insane. Yeah, the
People
amount it
brought
takes.
so much time and effort.
Yeah.
into our show, the serial show. Our show, everyone's show,
Oh, sure.
everyone's show.
Is this communist?
What?
And talking about everyone,
Our show.
Little Women, the episode where we had one extra host.
Yes,
We had an
Mm.
We have
actual little
4.
woman, and it was Sarah.
an actual little woman.
Yes, and
Yeah.
Sarah Baines jumped in, and she contributed some amazing, just like opinions, perspectives to
Yeah.
that movie. That's
was-
another movie where I was quite opinionated, to be honest, looking back.
I mean, that's a movie where opinions surround it anywhere you go.
Well, actually,
Yeah,
that's kind of
that's
the
true.
point. Like, what was it, Lori and
Ma-
no,
Laurie and Joe.
Joe, and then who was the other one?
There's Beth and Mommy is the mum.
No. The one Lori actually.
It sounded like you said "mommy" to me. Like with the headphones. It's like "mommy" is the mom.
Mommy. Yeah, was it? Well,
Now I need to make sure that it's mommy and
we still reference that
oh,
being
it's because of my lack of R.
It is.
Oh.
Like mommy.
which is funny because like I feel like Australians they add R's in certain areas and remove them.
Yes.
It's
Can
like,
we
are
talk
you,
about that?
Are you rhotic or non-rhotic? Make up your mind.
Don't ask questions that no one knows the answer to.
Oh man.
Okay, what was the thing you called Marmy? It was something about a giving too much.
Yeah, no, that was I was like, she gives to the detriment of herself,
Yes.
which makes her like a toxic character and not the
Which we will joke about from time to time.
Yeah.
I don't remember a huge
You're like,
amount,
yeah,
actually.
Seth, because you hate people that give too much.
So it's like she's a giving and caring person. What an awful human.
What an awful human being.
Wow.
She gives to the detriment of herself and others.
That jump from Little Women to Hunt for Red October was nearly a year.
Yeah, that was our
Whoa.
our
Wow.
accidental.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's
Although to
rough.
be fair, life kind of picked up.
Yeah,
At that
well,
Oh, yeah,
point.
it was rough.
2022 was the year of like reopening,
Yeah.
and we
There
were
was
There's a lot
like
going on.
vaccines were becoming a thing at that point. People were
Yep.
getting out and about.
Yep.
Like that was.
So we won't talk about from June to December of
no,
2021.
we were busy, guys. And then we came up with the idea to wrap it up because life was getting busy, but we wanted to tie it up with a bow.
Yeah.
So the idea of 3 final episodes, each one our favorite movie, Quinn, Hunt for Red October. And that was I don't think I would have ever known that movie existed or watched it
Right.
without. That was a really good movie.
Yeah.
I've never felt more claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But appreciative of submarines and the ocean in my life.
We learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that
Again,
was-
like learning a lot through movies.
The simple man is not so simple when you find what he likes. Hunt for Red October, Quinn taught us a thing or two.
Mhm.
Let's see. What's the expression? Deep waters run slow.
There we go. But when you're in them, it's Hunt for Red October. And then we got Wally, my favorite movie. And then Surf's Up, Drayton's favorite
Surf's
movie. And this is how it's a pretty good way to end it.
It is.
Some little
Mm.
statistics.
Ooh.
So, you go
Sorry,
ahead.
it was just like a random, like small thought. Hopefully, like Surf's Up, something you can listen to anytime.
Yep.
Just listen to have fun and be happy. Hopefully, that kind of rounds out what the serial show was for a lot of people
Yeah.
too.
Absolutely.
And-
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
It's
So,
kind of. I'm sorry.
Averages. So we have reviewed 14 movies. Who do you think has the highest average rating? I can't give an opinion. Just shoot.
I think me.
Oh.
Really.
I think it's me.
What do you
I
think?
it's me because I have a hard time.
It's
being-
me.
It's me. It's gonna be me.
Number 3, my lord.
Number three.
Number 3. Okay. Interesting.
Is it you? There's no way.
That would be
it's
a
you.
hilarious
Here we
plot
go.
twist.
There is no way it's him.
I am in the middle
Really?
with an average of 8 exactly.
What?
Oh no.
I must be rating movies really low.
Or I'm
Quinn.
rating movies really low. What am I?
Is at the top, rating movies 8.1 average.
Wow.
And Drayton comes in with a 7.6 average.
Drayton's a hater.
I put an 11.5 tonight.
Okay, not factoring Surf's Up.
Oh,
Disclaimer.
Okay,
But we were all really high
Really?
with Surf's Up.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the one who came in with the least critical eye the whole time.
Maybe,
And
maybe we just haven't watched enough of Drayton's
Well-
favorite movie.
Well, I was gonna say because I think
The janitor, we were like, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Star Wars.
maybe we have been, or were you like either that, or you were more like because I don't know I feel like most movies we've watched, I really like. There's only been a couple that we've done that were like kind of. I also do that a lot. Where
I think-
I tend to hand out positive stuff because
Ju-
I hate being negative.
I think the
Right.
thing is, Drayton's pretty average with us across the board. He's average with us on the average movies. But on the movies that were really polarized, like the Star Wars movies, Quinn gave like 9.5, 9.82. But you were like chilling at a 7.
okay.
And then with
yeah.
Fantastic Mr. Fox, one of my favorite movies, I gave that a 10.
hmm
And I think you would, let's look. Fantastic
think-
Mr. Fox, you were chilling at 7.8.
What blows my mind is that Seth is the middle. I would not have guessed.
Would
that.
not have guessed that. Look who's sitting in the middle if
Yeah.
you're watching.
Yeah, that's true.
You just made me a liar.
How the
What-
turntables.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. I failed you guys. That's what I'm
What do you-
learning. Like, as the janitor, I failed.
Or maybe you grounded us
You grounded,
by having
yeah.
the closest to zero score.
Sure, the ground, a good place
we
to
go.
sit.
And then those that have submitted hot takes, we have Devin, Angel, Michael, Jordan, James, Jonathan, Benji, Cameo, Darius, my dad, Jalen, Bill, Mark, Elijah, Mark with his banjo. We got cameo again with a kazoo, Philip, the Wind Stabbers.
That's awesome.
Shameless
That
plug.
one was awesome. Yeah.
Absolute guys, listen to the Wind Stabbers.
Wind Stabbers.
And then Aubrey and Scout, 18 different people.
If we include tonight, we've got Megan,
Yep,
and then the last take, right?
and Joel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's 20.
20 or 21.
Yeah, 20 individual people and multiple, like 30 takes.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Thank you
Amazing.
guys.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Like
that's-
really.
That's pretty
See,
awesome.
Dude.
And it always brings me back to there's that many people listening and
I
that
know.
many people that care enough that want
Okay.
to send in a take.
Talking about people listening, did you know that even though we haven't released an episode in a real long time, we've had 107 plays in the last month?
What?
What?
We've also had over, and this is, so the main site that we used to host the first maybe 15 episodes of the podcast just got, they like took themselves down last week. Like
Really?
they no longer exist.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm really glad we pivoted to Anchor,
Yeah,
which
well-
got bought by Spotify, so they're not going anywhere.
No.
But we have what I can gather at least 4,000 plus
Oh,
listens
serious?
over the Zero Show.
No, that you know what? Maybe it's a good thing we're ending. I don't think we
Dude,
should reach
don't-
4,000 listens.
That's
And the-
insane.
And then for Spotify specifically, 67% minimum come from USA, a good chunk from South Korea, Germany, Canada, and Australia.
wow.
And
Whoa.
we have Apple Podcasts is more popular than Spotify.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
So maybe
Sorry, that's
Apple
gonna look like a
Podcasts
clap
has
on
some
the
really
timer.
good discoverability features. I don't know, but yeah, there's more listens coming from Apple Podcasts. But on
Oh.
Spotify, 49. It's my dyslexia. 49.8% are male, 44.9 female, and 4.4 undecided.
Interesting.
And
First
then
of all, that's
What?
like that's a crazy breakdown for like
Yeah.
anything.
That is.
Because normally it's like it's hard to find demographics that are like
Well,
that evenly split.
yes, and think of
Right.
like take the tech sector
Mhm.
with like the WAN show, majority guys that listen to that. Whereas with the movies, like it's cool that our audience is so 50-50. And you
Yeah.
see that with age range. The biggest age range is 18 to 22. But if you take that away, there's like within 5% difference is 23 to 27, 40 to 50, and I think like 12 to 18.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wait, I just lost my thought. I guess continue.
was
And
gonna say-
then the most popular episode of the
Oh,
Serial Show just it haunts me because it's also probably Seth's most opinionated episode is Little Women at
really?
over 380 listens.
Wow.
Wow. I
Maybe,
mean,
maybe Sarah just has way more friends than us.
Sarah just
I,
said
I was about to
repeat.
say, maybe that's what
I was like, that's.
And that's the breakdown of the numbers that I can
Would-
pull on the Serial Show.
Part of me wants to believe Little Women alone skewed our demographic like dramatically to one side. There's like, what do three dudes
we
have
went
to?
from 95% male audience.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's like
goodness.
this is righteous anger. They're like, what do three dudes have to say about Little Women?
Ugh.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
Also, it's interesting too because we did lose the first 15 episodes in terms of statistics.
Mhm.
That would have also been. I mean, first of all, it was probably the
Probably
not-
lowest.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
lowest. Those are our tech
Yep.
episodes.
I think they average like 30
30.
listens each.
Also,
Yeah.
isn't it funny when I see if I'm looking up a tutorial on YouTube and it has 4.4 thousand views?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not likely to click on it. I'll
Yep.
look for one with a higher view count. But in terms of people listening to the podcast,
Yes.
it's funny when you change your perspective how the scales shift.
yes.
Right.
Because like when I think of 4,000 listening to my dumb voice, like this is just a
Yep.
terrifying thought. And like I even get that I get that from people I know. They're like, "Hey, found your podcast." It's like,
You're like, dang, is my name attributed to that?
yeah, I'm
How
like,
did you
well,
find it?
Oh,
I
man.
think
Yep.
about all the cringy stuff I did at that moment.
Yep.
I'm like, oh no.
Wait, and is that when you're thankful that I edit out, I censor you?
That's when I'm thankful.
One win for censorship. Maybe I should edit this out. Don't quote that ever. And those are the numbers that I have. So boys, it's with I didn't think of any final words. I just
Oh
found
man.
numbers and tried not to think about it saying goodbye.
It's been a heck of a time
It
capsule.
has, but
Like-
there's one more thing. One more thing. There always is one more thing, isn't there?
Steve Jobs over here.
Exactly. and it's something that Quinn and I know about, but Drayton doesn't.
Whoa. Yeah.
We have one final community take.
Yeah.
And it's from someone that might be in Surf's Up. So let's
What?
bring this take and give it a listen together.
Okay, should we? We also have not seen this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just like
okay.
every other take, we're watching it live. Can you
Okay.
guys see? Okay.
Yeah, I can see
I
it.
think so.
Okay.
Yeah, if I lean in here.
Okay, I'm gonna hit play and then run back to the.
Okay. Yeah, I have not seen this. It's gonna be interesting.
The mission is unreal.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay, of course, pick Spotify to play. Okay, everyone ready?
Yep.
Oh, Dribby, Drayton, what's up, you butt nugget? How's it going, man? Drayton, you sound like a pretty chillax dude. Yeah, I hope you're having a good one. Seth and Quinn want to send you all their love and warm fuzzies your way, and they want to make sure that you slay it at your new job. You got to get, wait, you were a janitor, you quit your job as janitor, and you got a gig in the legal field. A gig? What are you, the defendant? Did you get yourself, is that code for you're in trouble with the law? How do you get a gig in the legal field? Are you just like a lawyer now? Well, I'm not doing the best job at congratulating or motivating, because that's what Seth and Quinn are asking for, some motivation and congratulations. I'm doing the best I can. I can feel it in my nuggets. Yeah, there's some Chicken Joe stuff in there, because I know you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, all things Surf's Up. Mondo Kudo Pudo. Tastes like chicken, right? Something like that. Anyways, you sound like you're pretty awesome at everything. So, like I said, crush those mogs when you get into the legal field, and you'll do just fine. Listen to your heart. That's what I do. See you, Drayton. Keep living the dream. If you can dream it, you can do it. Just bring me some chapstick. My lips go. Brain freeze! Yeah! What?
And that is the final take of the Zero Show. John Heder himself.
John
Dude, how?
Magic.
Yes.
Seth knows people.
No, like, are you just like reaching out to people through social media? Like, how did you do that?
It wasn't actually our idea to begin with.
It wasn't.
How? No.
There's
Like,
a secret group chat.
Yep. There
When we
was a group
started.
chat that you were not in
oh, why is that?
because
It's
it was
your-
a surprise for
It's
you.
your movie. Sean Connery's dead. We couldn't have gotten him as a cameo.
And
Oh.
Wally's a robot. So we had Chicken Joe.
Dude,
Yeah.
that is so weird. Like, I don't even know how to process that.
And that's
Yeah.
we couldn't think of a better last take. And for a janitor as
Okay,
well.
how long has this been in play? Is this why Surf's Up is the last episode?
It kind of,
Yeah.
kind of. I think partially was a happy accident, but
Yep.
like
This
this was definitely part of it.
we love our janitor.
We love
Even though he's moving on to bigger and better things. Being part of the legal field. Being a defendant.
getting in trouble with the law. This is the last time we're seeing Drayton.
Yep.
I just want to say for the camera too, for anybody that's watching, well, and anybody that's listening, these guys are the best, not just for this, but because we joke all the time about like who's valuable, who's not, you know, like what's our place in a friendship. These guys started this podcast. I came along as just kind of a goof that could hopefully add something. I don't know why they're doing this for me, but I love you guys a lot. That is like insane to me how that worked out. I don't know who had the idea, and I don't know if I'm going to be filled in on that later or now or whatever, but thank you to whoever came up with it. What in the world? Like, that's just so weird. Like, weird is the only word I can come up with because it's just like not even comprehensible. And like this whole moving on to bigger things, we're all doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you guys are trying to spotlight on me right now. Like, really,
Mm-hmm.
like it's all of us, I think, and it stinks to think that this is gonna have to end to move on to those bigger things. But all three of us, like, we've got so much to look forward to, and this has been like the coolest 3 years to spend together, just coming up with different things. I also want to throw out there, besides a podcast and just being best friends, we tried to run a company together. Like, we've done a lot since 2020. You know, late 2019, we all started getting really close. And yeah, I'm a little confused why this is happening to me right now.
Well,
when this was your guys' podcast to start out.
This is our podcast.
This has been, like you said, such a fascinating time capsule. Like, it's one of those ones it's going to be weird, but several years from now, even, we're all going to be in different places. It'll be neat to look back on this podcast series to see what it was like.
Yeah.
You know, nothing else when we all had hair and knees that worked and like whatnot. But like Seth and I'm so thankful for I guess we'll tell them afterward who came up with this idea.
we got to put them on the spot. It's Aiden and Devin are masterminds.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we know someone that knows John Heder. So we tried a few different routes to see if we could get him, and then ended up finding one, Quinn and I, at the end to snag him last minute.
Wow.
And yeah.
Also, thank you to John Heder. If you're watching, dude, that is awesome for you to take the time out and, I mean, come join a little podcast in the middle of Kansas. Like really, and the special shout out to me, I really appreciate it. But it's all these guys right here, 100%.
You're not allowed to make me cry. I think
Nah, man, like really love you guys. I'm so confused why it's like culminating in this, but thank you, Dev and Aiden too. Like,
well, for such an awesome show that's meant a lot to everybody.
Yep.
We wanted to send it off in the proper way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like this is a heck of a conclusion.
That is a conclusion.
The finale.
That is a finale. Not a finale on the friendship. Finale on this chapter. As we turn to the next chapter and see what's in store.
And not a finale on life or just things that, which, one last Dribby fact for anybody listening out there on the Serial Show. I thought it was interesting that with Surf's Up, sorry, we got a fan situation.
The mood was just killed by a fan.
Nah.
I'm working on it.
Can we keep this in?
It wouldn't be the Serial Show without technical difficulties.
Right.
I mean, if someone's listened this far into the episode,
100%.
they're here for the fan noise.
Yeah. I keep saying 100%. I say I have a word whisker every episode. That's my word whisker.
You're not allowed to find your word whisker while you're recording.
I know.
It happens when you listen back.
But to bring the moment back, one last Dribby fact. The opening scene in Surf's Up was the last one to be created.
What?
Whoa.
And I've been sitting here thinking about it, watching John Heder talk to me and you guys on this tiny little podcast here in the middle of nowhere. And I feel like we're reaching the conclusion of something that we love a lot, that connects us not just with each other, but obviously with other people that we have no idea about sometimes. It's just the beginning of some different things in life that we can all be excited about. And I know it's got to be the same for a lot of our listeners. Like, we're in an awesome time of life. There's so much to look forward to, just staying positive, having fun with it along the way, as we've seen the theme has been with the movie that we've reviewed this time, and really the theme of the show that we're doing here, the Serial Show. Just, it may be the end to something, but it's just new beginnings somewhere else. And I know that's a cheesy line. I feel like we find that in a lot of different places. It may be a trope in movies, but it's true, you know, and I love you guys. I know we aren't going anywhere, and I hope for all the listeners, especially all those that we know personally, like, we aren't going anywhere. It's just,
there are some things that will never change. Change is inevitable, but the things that won't change is we're always going to be best friends, the three amigos. I'm always going to like cereal way more than the average person should. And you will always, if you ever want to hear us ramble and rant about something, we will always be doing that. So just come find us.
Definitely. Love you guys. That's awesome.
Love you boys too.
Love you, man. It's good to end on a good note before the milk spoils.
What a chapter.
Yeah.
Wouldn't pick anyone else to avert this chapter with.
Yeah.
Love you, boys. And now we have to do like a happy. This has been okay.
Transition.
Yep. The normal.
Should you start with a for the last time? This has been said.
Oh man.
You want to make it really sad? Go out with that mic drop.
For the last time, This has been Seth.
And this has been Quinn.
And this has been Drayton.
Have a fantastic day.
Love you guys. So, Seth, just out of curiosity, maybe to save you in the last episode here, would you change your rating of Emperor's New Groove?
It's a loose end I could tie up. I would not change my rating. It's a 6.8.
What? I'm so done!
Perfect. Sacrifice the headphones.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Oh man.
That sounds good.
See, that's good. We're ending on like feeling good.
Yeah.